16 Maart. Hierdie is Adriaan Vos se plaas. Ek is hier so saam met hom vandag. Hy is die eerste keer hierso vandat sy lewe amper tot 'n einde gekom het op hierdie plaas wat hy sy lewe voorgegee het. Hierdie is wat oor is. Elke dag kom hulle nog steeds en kom plunder wat oor is. Slip en alles. Maar dit is wat oor is van 'n boer se plaas.
My guests are Tersia Myburg. I hope I say the name right. Tersia Myburg Engelbrecht, a South African social media activist. I believe she was a farmer before as well. And Adriaan Vos, the victim of a vicious farm attack in South Africa. And the reason why I've invited Tersia and Adriaan, Vossie, as he's known, to this discussion is because the smart people, the intelligent people, the bright people are all discussing and dissecting the meeting between Trump and Ramaphosa in the Oval Office yesterday. There's a lot been written already in the media about this meeting, and I thought it would be the right thing to do to actually talk to the victims of violence in South Africa. So I came across a video that was posted by Tersia Myburg Engelbrecht about a vicious farm attack a day or two ago, and I thought, I want to talk to these people. So to both you, Tersia and Adriaan Vos, thank you very much for talking to me and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vossie, I guess you guys watched the meeting between Ramaphosa and Donald Trump yesterday. Tell me, Vossie, your reaction.
Okay, the things I saw yesterday, President of South Africa went overseas, and the things that he knows about his own land, South Africa, what's going on here is disappointed. Really, I thought he knows more than what he received from Donald Trump yesterday, because he didn't know whatever's going on in South Africa. The things that Donald showed him and talked to him and displayed, he didn't know what's going on in South Africa, really. For the first time I heard he were at Nampo, one of the biggest farm gatherings and things in South Africa. For the first time in 30 years he went there, just before he went overseas. And I know that is for a reason. And I was so disappointed yesterday that our president went overseas and he didn't do his homework. People overseas told him what's going on in South Africa, and that is the truth. We all said it, and he showed it last night.
Yeah. Tersia, your reaction. And I think, let me just say this, I think that Vossie is referring here specifically to the point when Trump showed Ramaphosa the images of the white crosses. And that's I must correct. Say that I also just about fell off my chair when I realized that the president is not aware of the white crosses. Your reaction, Tersia?
The fact that the White Cross monument is 20 kilometers from Ramaphosa's own farm, how do you not know about a monument like that? So it is utter lies and deception that he wanted to take to Trump, and we are so grateful that we have sent the right information to Donald Trump. So a lot of people wondered, do Donald Trump know about what goes on in South Africa? And now the answer, you've got your answer. Donald Trump is more aware of what goes on in this country than our own president, apparently, which is a lie. We have been shouting, screaming from the rooftops about what goes on in South Africa, and he continually denied it in government.
Am I right that you just said that Ramaphosa's own farm is something like 20 kilometers away from Is that
Correct.
the hill where we see the white crosses on?
Where the white crosses are.
And he
That
sat
is
there,
called the
and he
White
sat
Cross
in the White
Monument.
House yesterday saying things, oh, I have to talk to my people about this and find out about it.
100%. 100%. So I was furious when he said that. And like I said, that seat that Trump gave him yesterday, it looked like there was a heater in it. He could not sit still. He was like shoving around, and what made me so angry was the smile on his face. There was a smile on his face when Donald Trump even had the papers in his hand with all the brutal murders of the last 3 months. The papers he had in his hands was murders and attacks for the last 3 months. We're not talking about the last 30 years. We're just talking about the last 3 months. So he sat there with a smile on his face, and he thought he could play the game of he's there to he needs America's help. He needs Trump's help. But I think a month or two ago he said, Trump, keep your America and South Africa. We keep our South Africa. We don't need Trump. And now he's begging for money and to solve the crime in South Africa. It's and knows nothing about farm murders.
Yeah. Vos, I sat here in my home in Amsterdam. I watched it. I think millions of people around the world have, in the meantime, at least, seen the images. I know I've been told many times, and it's something I've said myself many, many times, is that it seems that the South African media is not too keen on talking about these things. And I'm putting it as gently as what I can. We don't read about these things. We don't hear the stories being told in our newspapers to the extent that at least one would like it to be. And I would imagine you want it to be told in South Africa. So to you, Vossie, what did it feel like when you sat there yesterday and you watched, if I may call it, the discomfort of the South African president? What did it feel like on the inside while you were watching this?
Yeah, and the first time it doesn't feel part. I doesn't feel part of South Africa. I've been here so long. I paid my taxes. I did what I should do, and the thing that is said that we could not change. That is the biggest problem, that we could not change. That's why people is running overseas and people can't accept the change in South Africa. That is the biggest lie. I'm farming with black farmers. I've got black farmers around me. I'm one of those white farmers that will go out at night. And that's what I did. Night after night, running after people that is stealing and shooting and doing stuff that shouldn't be done. So that thing of people can't not accept and could not change is a lie. All of us need to change. We've already changed. I come from the previous South Africa and I've changed because that's what we need to do. But now a guy that's sitting there and make out if there's nothing happening in South Africa, it's hard. Really, it's hard to say I'm a South African, and that's why people are running overseas.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay here. You can't go out at night, and now you must listen to this. Really, I don't know.
Yeah. Are you saying to me that I know that Ramaphosa has described the 49 or the 59, I'm not quite sure if it's 49 or 59 Afrikaners, 49 Afrikaners who have left for the USA. He's described them as cowards. And he's insinuating and saying that these people do not want to transform, do not want to change, do not want to adapt to the new South Africa. That's more or less the message that we're getting here. You're saying that's false. You're saying that Afrikaners have adapted 30 years later to the new South Africa and that you are fully committed to the new South Africa. Is that what you're saying?
I'm telling you, that is the truth. You can't stay here for 30 years and still be here if you haven't changed and accept change. You can't be here 30 years. We're not in a jail, so we can do what we want to do. And if you can't accept change, you won't accept it for 30 years.
Tersia, let's talk about yourself. If you can just give us an idea of who you are and how you became a social media activist. I know and let me just say this to the viewers as well. I've just met Forsie now 5 minutes ago, and I just met you yesterday when we started putting this discussion together. Give us some idea of your background. You told me, amongst other things, that you were also a farmer. And in my impression of the discussion we had yesterday, you suggested that you could no longer stay on the farm also because of fear, that you fled the farm. And you're living in a lovely spot in South Africa at the moment, by the way. But just give us a background about yourself and how you came to be involved in the activism that you're doing.
Well, I'm a very proud South African. I'm what we call the Boer folk, proud Afrikaans speaking and a big activist for my people. I've started my TikTok, my social media accounts a while ago, and started my journey. I was staying on a farm. Couldn't find a job in South Africa because of the race-based laws in South Africa. As a white person, doesn't matter what kind of a experience you have, you will not find a job. It is extremely hard. So I went to the farm. It's my brother's property, stayed there, spoke out about politics in South Africa. And then when Fossie's farm is about 5 kilometers away from me, it shook me that morning when I woke up and I got messages from everywhere because everyone knew that I was staying in the Western area and I'm friends with a lot of Boer media groups.
Yeah.
And everyone messaged me and T, are you all right? And I was like, guys, I don't know anything about this. I was on the phone and I got hold of Fossie's sister, which told me what was going on. And I went to the hospital to Fossie. And I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated because you see things, you read about things on social media platforms, but when it happens so very close to home, and because of how I speak out about things in South Africa, my life is being threatened all the time. And it got very hot for me when I started attacking certain individuals and posting about them. I got like 40 phone calls on one day, threats for my life. And 2 weeks after Fossie's attack, there was a break-in at my on the farm, and I called it. I said, I can't do this anymore. I was scared that night. I was sitting in the house. I couldn't get hold of anyone, and I was waiting for someone to open their door and come in. And thank God they never did. And I made this decision to move off the farm.
Yeah. Just for those viewers that do not know South Africa, and especially international viewers, just sketch me more or less just the environment in which you lived before you left the farm and your situation. Women alone, I imagine, in a farm that is not too far away from Western area, which is, just help me out here, how far from the next bigger city?
Fossie's farm is about 5 k's from me. Nearest town, Fossie, I think Western area is 10 kilometers away from away from where I stayed. Fossie has been on my farm. So it's in a secure state. So you would think that it is safe, but it wasn't. It wasn't safe.
But you are a woman alone still in not within a town or a city or a village or anything like that on a farm. If something's to go wrong,
that is the scary part.
How far is the next? How far is help?
1.5. It's about a kilometer. So your next neighbor is about a kilometer away. My closest one. So if I would have screamed, they would not hear me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a scary thought. You can't explain that kind of fear to anyone. I did not sleep. I took a nap during the day and stayed awake at night.
Yeah.
And I even got a little dog to wake me up if I do fall asleep. It's a fear you cannot explain to anyone. You expect something to happen the whole time.
Yeah. And it's a constant fear you're talking about. 24 hours around the clock.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Give us an idea of your security situation. What do you have? Security gates around the house, walls around the house, barbed wire.
We all do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we all have electrical fence. We all have like Fossey as well. I was on the farm with Fossey. Fossey took all the security precautions
Mm-hmm.
that he had, that is humanly possible for us, and that you can't afford. All of us can't afford the latest technology in safety. We can't do it, so we have to make deal with electrical fence and do your best and cameras and stuff like that. It didn't help Fossey. It didn't help me.
Yeah.
They still, if they want to get in, they will get in.
Yeah. I just want to make it clear once again to viewers that are not familiar with South Africa. One of the things that I always tell people here, and they simply cannot believe me, is that the houses are there's not only a fence around the house and sometimes barbed wire on top of that concrete fence or whatever the case might be, but sometimes even metal gates inside the house itself to separate, for example, the sleeping area from the house, from the rest of the house. Is that, just tell me about that.
I've seen a few scary. There was one lady that showed the video of her attack, and it was very scary. And a lot of the farmers that I have spoken to, they have done that as well. They make their main bedroom like a bomb shelter with no windows whatsoever, thick walls with a safety gate. So the moment that they go to bed at night, they lock themselves basically up. And to know that if they do hear something and someone do come into their house, there is like 3 or 4 safety gates that they have to get through to get to them. Guys, it is crazy to live like that. What kind of a life is that?
Yeah.
And that is real. That is absolutely what our farmers need to do. And what they're doing, they make like their main bedrooms like bomb shelters and lock themselves up at night just to try and survive to the next morning.
Fossey, tell us about your farm. Before we talk about the 16th of March, tell us about what kind of a farm it is. Tell us a little bit about your life on the farm.
About just over 20 years, me and my father-in-law moved to the farm. We have been staying there. I've got married there, and I've been staying there a few years. And my daughter was born, and we decided to build our own place there where I had it at. It's right on the upper side of the farm, on the kopie. So we decided to build our own place on that side. And at the end of the day, we moved there. And 4 years ago, my ex-wife, she died, and I stayed alone there. My daughter went to university after school, and at the end of the day, I was the only one that stayed there, except for weekends and some holidays that I saw her. Right, we farmed with cattle for about 10 years, and that is when the problem started with theft, cattle theft, and really we had a problem with cattle theft. My father-in-law passed away, and then my mother-in-law sat with the cattle during the day. I worked, and it really became a problem at night. So we decided to to let go of the cattle. We sold them, and for a time there were about nothing on the farm. And then I decided to buy some goats and start farming with goats, Kalahari red goats on the farm again. And I had a theft a few years ago, and since then everything went well.
Let's go to March the 16th and tell me the entire story.
Around about 1 o'clock in the morning, the dogs woke me up. I went outside and I called them, and they came close to me. I've got a 3-story building, a house, and I was on the 2nd floor, so I could see quite far with the lights that I've got. And I called the dogs back from the gate. They came back, and then all of a sudden they left again towards the gate. So I knew there's something going on. But normally it's a dog that's running around, or a cow that's got lost, or something, you don't know, a rabbit. You don't know what's going on. So I went back inside, I got dressed, made myself a cup of coffee, and as normal I went out. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had a camera there at the bottom where the goats are locked up. There were a problem, it was offline, so I thought, okay, on my way out, I will go there and I will go and see what's going on with that camera as well, because I couldn't get it online. So I left and got a parrot there on top, and I talked to the parrot, and a little dog that stays there on top as well. And closed the gate and I went down, or the door, and I went down, and I went straight to the gate, and I unlocked the gate and I opened the gate, and I went out about 2 or 3 steps so I could see around the trees that were being planted there, what the dogs were barking about, and I couldn't see anything. So I left the gate open. I walked back to my workshop, opened the workshop, and I took my truck out, put the spotlight on, handheld spotlight, and I went out the gate. And as I went out the gate, I put the spotlight on to my left-hand side where the barking came from, and I light towards that until I couldn't reach the light further backwards because of the chair inside the passenger's chair and the headrest. And at that moment, the shots went off, and the broken glass went into my face and eyes and into my neck, and I threw the spotlight down, and then I felt a bullet going through my knee, and I couldn't control my bakkie running, and it died. And I bent forward to get it started again, and as soon as I got it started, I felt on my way towards leaning back, I felt a bullet or something hit me in the back. And I know there was something wrong because of my breathing, and I can't breathe, and blood and stuff coming out of my mouth. So I know it's time to go now, because I don't know where the next shot will be, and if I will make it down this way towards my neighbor. I got away there, and I made it towards the tar road, and I phoned my neighbor, Jaco Tauta, and I told him, I'm on my way, I've been shot, and I'm on my way. He must phone the police and the ambulance and stuff because I'm bleeding. And so I drove towards his house, and they were waiting for me. And then is when the police and the ambulance and people arrived.
Fossi, were you able to figure out for yourself while all of this happening about an idea of how many attackers? Was it one attacker, two attackers, 10? Just give me an idea.
No, I can't tell you. Really, the shots just came from my left-hand side. I don't know how many people are there and how many guns are there. It was just glass, broken glass everywhere, and the shots just came through the bakkie. And I didn't think about anything. I just thought about getting out of there, getting to the tar road, phone that guy, and arrived there and sat and just phone my daughter and tell her this.
What would the motive be for the attack?
Well, afterwards, that same morning or just after it happened, the only thing that we could see the next morning is someone. Okay, they burnt my house, and as far as we know, there's nothing. Okay, everything is burnt out, but there were big screen TVs and stuff in the lapa at the bottom. The big screen TV is still there on the mount, and they went into my workshop. My daughter's car were in the workshop. The keys were in the car because that's the way I live on the farm. The keys are in the ignitions, and they opened my daughter's car. They took her radio. They took her speakers and a pair of jumper cables. There were a handbag lying in the back of of a car, of thousands of bucks, and they didn't took that. They didn't took the car. They went to my other bakkie. They opened the bonnet. They took a little battery in there, old battery. And as far as we know, that is what they left with. So there were a bakkie, there were a car, there were a lot of stuff in the workshop. And that is what they left with. And then they set my house on fire. So really, I don't know what the motive were. There's a lot of speculation. They were angry that I got away after being shot 16 times and 2 guns.
Fossi, just help us understand. When you were shot, this happened at your around the bakkie, or you were in the bakkie?
I was in the bakkie, on my way out.
How far away from the house were you at that point?
That's my house, and then the gate is about 10-15 meters from my house, and my workshop is on the other side about 10-15 meters. So I went from my house towards the gate, 10-15 meters. I opened the gate, I looked out, everything, I left the gate open, and then I walked back to my workshop, and then I got in my bakkie. I drove past my house out at the gate.
Yeah.
So it's all in about a range of 15 meters of each other.
And at that point, somebody shot you. At that point, you got shot at.
Right when I went out the gate. As soon as I went out the gate and I put the spotlight, I'm surely as close as I could towards them, because they were standing around 3 to 5 meters from my bakkie. Yeah. That's where we got the cartridges, 16 cartridges.
And could you see anything? Could you see movement? Could you see people?
No, I didn't see anything. I was lighting towards them, and I think before I could light on them or nearby, they started shooting. That's one of the things that I thought, okay, they don't want to be recognized, and then they started shooting. The bakkie with me inside.
Yeah, but I would be correct if I say that it's obvious that there were more than one person. It wasn't a lone attack.
Yes. There were 2 guns, a 38 and a 45. So there were 2 guns involved.
Yeah.
So there must be at least 2 people
Yeah.
that were standing there.
Yeah. And would I be correct if I say that the attack, it seems to me, was not only aimed at you, but it was to actually rob the house, perhaps, because that you talk about a robbery that took place as well.
No, the robbery of the house, because as I said, there's a lot of things that we saw afterwards that's still there. Big screen TVs. You don't leave a big screen TV of 20 grand. You don't leave cars. My daughter's car was standing there. My other bakkie was standing there. They could have take everything, loaded on the bakkie or on the cars because the keys were there, and they could have taken the cars. Really, I can't see that there were really stuff being stolen except for a battery and a car radio and little things. But cars were standing there, bakkie was standing there, big screen TVs that they didn't seem to be worried about.
Yeah. So they attacked you, and at the same time they attacked the house as well, because then they set fire to the house as well.
They set fire to the house, yes.
Just try to help me to understand what would the motive be. Why would they do that? It's not, you said the big screen TV is still there, so they're not out to steal goods so that they can sell on, to make a profit on, or whatever the case might be. They're out there to kill you and to destroy your house. That's what I'm hearing.
That's correct. That's what I'm feeling. Yeah, they were there. I don't know if I caught them in the act, because the other thing that's a problem is copper, theft of copper. It's a major thing in South Africa, theft of copper. Now,
which means what? I'm not with you. Explain to me.
Copper theft is cables, cables, transformers.
Copper.
Copper. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now I've got every farm has a pole next to the house with a transformer. That's on the pole, and you get your electricity to the transformer. That transforms your electricity to 220 volt. That's going to your house. And I know for a fact they after that transformers, you can sell that stuff for 30, 80 grand, depends on the size. So I don't know, maybe if I caught them in the act of maybe stealing that transformer, because they cut the wooden pole at the bottom, it fell, the electricity got tripped automatically, and they take the transformer and off they go. Normally there's a truck or thing somewhere that they can load it up. There's a lot of things. I don't know if they just came to get rid of me and rid of my farm, because that's the first thing that I thought it's happening there. They want me off that farm, and that's why they set my house on fire. They want to destroy everything there for me not to be there ever again.
You say they want you off. It's just so much now for me to try to understand here. The copper is a possible motive, because you can you can get a lot of money by selling the actual copper. So that could be a motive. But they shoot you. They shoot your bucket to pieces. Essentially, I assume they steal the copper as well. But essentially, they set the house alight because they want to get rid of you.
I don't know. 16 shots. I made it, and I got out of there.
Is this just pure criminality? These are just bad people who wants to rob you because of the copper that's in the vicinity of your house, where they can make their buck from? Or is there more to this thing? Is it trying to frighten you? Is it trying to take over your house? Is it trying to occupy your land?
Well, they could have left me. I was on my way out. They could have left me. I was on my way out. And they have all the time to do whatever they want. If they need to take copper or anything that they want. Why did they shot me 16 times or try to get rid of me? I was on my way out. I didn't bother them. I was on my way out. So I gave them the opportunity to do whatever they want. And still they decide to get rid of me. But luckily, I survived it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Any of these things that happen here, do you think it is spontaneous crime, or do you think that there is something behind this that motivates this? And if you want to jump in, Tersia, please help me out here and trying to understand, and help the listeners and the viewers out to try to understand this here. Because we know about the rumors about planned attacks on the farms to try to scare off the white farmer from his farm to be able to take the land, occupy the land. We know about those calls as well. So if we just throw ideas around there, I'm trying to sort of distinguish between which is just something that is just a criminal act, or is there a motivation behind this as well, driven by the idea of land occupation?
Well, I would say there's a motivation, crime motivation, not to get rid of me. That's the most important thing to me at this moment, is to get rid of me from that farm. Really. Tersia, sorry.
Yes, right. To me, it's, if I speak to a lot of farmers, and I'm one of the first, and a lot of the things that I receive from the groups and from farmers is not things that we can post on social media because of the absolute brutality of the killings and attacks on our farmers. So if this was just a crime, theft, why do the things, most of the killings, there is a panga involved. So the more blood, the happier they are. It's hours and hours of pure torture and rape of our people. That is not just a theft. That's not just I want to a little bit of money, steal stuff. This is a hate crime. This can only be called a hate crime. So it's entire families. What also concerns me is it's all 90% of the time we're talking about our people that have been killed is in their 80s. We're talking about elderly farmers that is being brutally killed. And like I said, the things that has been done to them is not things that is easy to talk about, and you cannot post it. You cannot talk about it on social media because that's why my account is always on ban. I try to tell the story, I tell what is going on, and I get banned for saying that. So is it just a crime in South Africa? No, it's not. Just a crime in South Africa doesn't go with hours and hours of rape and torture. And then if you want to kill someone, kill them, put a bullet through their head. But why take hours of humiliating them and torture them and then only kill them? They want to make a point.
Yeah.
And imagine this is what they want to leave for the families. There's families that goes into that houses after getting the news of their family member being killed. And that is the scene that they walk into. Pure evil and blood everywhere. That is the memory that will stay with that family for the rest of their lives. That will be their last memory of their family member. And that's why we cannot get over what has been done to our farmers. It's the way it was done. It's not just a crime.
Yeah, yeah. Tersia, is that the only thing that I can imagine is what you're saying is that the motive here must be to terrorize?
100%. 100%. It's to terrorize and to, if you kill an old elderly farmer, so they believe that all the land in South Africa belongs to them. So if you kill an elderly farmer, the fear of the family that they will not go back to that farm most of the times. They will not go and farm there because of the fear of what just happened to a family member. The fear of that will happen to us. So most of the time, that farm is being put up for sale, or if they can't, and it's usually just dump it for next to nothing, just to get rid of it, because you don't have family that wants to go back there to that farm, because being a farmer these days is one of the most dangerous occupations in South Africa, as being a farmer. So then you get your people that they go and squat on your land, they steal your livestock, they steal your implements, they just absolutely do whatever they want on your farm. Farmers can't keep replacing. They're falling. Farmers are struggling.
Yeah.
And then the next moment, that farmer's gone again. We are losing our farmers. We're losing our farmland because of the crime and killings in this country. And we need to stop denying that this is happening. So land expropriation, they say it doesn't happen. It happens. But they come with another plan. Go and steal the livestock, squat on the land, and then your farmers feel their lives are threatened. They can't stay there, and they leave their land. And then they can take your land. If you're not occupying your land, they can take your land. So there's a plan behind all of this. But no, it's not just a crime that happens with our farmers. This is pure hate. It's pure a hate crime, and it's being instigated by some politicians in South Africa.
Yeah. I want to apologize to the viewers, listeners here. We've got some technical problems. I can see my own image is frozen here, but I'm going to just simply push through with this discussion. You said a lot of things there. I'm trying to figure out what is the prime drive behind all of this. Is it to occupy land, to take back land by force and by blood, if you wish to call it that?
Correct. There you go.
That's one part of it, and because of the nature of these crimes, to what extent am I right if I say it seems to me to be also driven by just simple pure hate?
Absolutely. 100%, you are 100% correct in that. It is driven by hate.
So let's start.
It's driven by certain political leaders. It is being driven, and you have a lot of unemployment in South Africa. A lot of people that has nothing to do. And what they do is they have time to go and sing, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, and to, do exactly what is being told to them as it's our land and we will take it by force and by blood. That was what Julius Malema said. We will take it by force and with blood. We don't need the government to tell us anything. We will take it. And they are doing it.
What is the what happened once these criminals, thugs, terrorists, whatever you want to call them, once they left? And they left you obviously, well, to be honest, shot to pieces in a terrible state. What happens then?
Okay, as I said, I heard afterwards that my house is on fire while we're lying in the ambulance, and on our way out to the hospital, they stopped and opened the ambulance door for one or other reason, I don't know, and I saw my house on fire there on top, on the copy. It was one ball of a fire, and I know it's over now. And I was lying in hospital that day, and that night they came back, and that is when they just ransacked the place. They cut the pole, they took the electric transformer from the pole, the copper I said. They took all the cables going from there to my house, from my house to my workshop. They opened my workshop. They stole everything in my workshop, all electric tools, everything that they could get off.
Can I just
Outside,
can I just ask you this? You create an image in my head. I can see you sitting or lying in the ambulance, and you look back. It's deep in the night, and you see your entire house is on fire. That's your whole life has been burned down. And then you say that the next day, these people come back like these people. I'd like to know who they are, but they come back literally like scavengers to come and eat and take the rest of what's left over there, and basically take everything and anything, and leave this, well, the skeleton, burnt out skeleton that we see if we look at the pictures of Tersia.
Yeah, like I said, right. Everything that could move, they took it. Everything inside my workshop, they took it. They even tried to steal the other bakkie. They broke everything off. They tried to steal the wheels off. Luckily, my daughter took my sister took my daughter's car out to Western area, and they left my bakkie inside the workshop. And they came in, and they just kept on going for at least a week. Every day they cut the fences. They came with trucks and bakkies. They took everything. And then all of a sudden, when I came out of the hospital after a week, things were quiet. And then I was there the one Sunday, everything was quiet. And Monday morning, they phoned me. They told me the workshop's roof is gone. That is about 35 plates of about 6 meters. And it's quite high with the angle. They took all the roof sheets off in that one night. So, they took about everything that were left there.
Who are the they that you're talking about? Are they people that living in surrounding villages or little towns from nearby? Where do they come from that descend on this burnt out house to come and steal every little thing that is of value that's left?
Okay, Jan, we've got people called the Zamas.
Mm-hmm.
That's people of South Africa and Zimbabwe, a lot of nearby places.
Mm-hmm.
They call the Zamas. They are people that's working at night, going underground, stealing copper, stealing gold wherever they can, and stealing fences, stealing cables, steal anything that they can sell during the day. And that is normally the guys that we call Zamas. They decide, or there's people driving around during the day, and at night in the afternoons, I've saw them how many times nearby my farm as well, and the police, everyone knows about them, that it's about 20 or 30 guys on a bakkie. It's called the Zamas, and they drop them somewhere off, and they got their job for the night on the mines, stealing something on the mines, or in the villages, or on farms, or wherever. And I think that is the guys that I call is the Zamas that's working at night.
Yeah, and are these Zamas that you're talking about? Because the way you describe them, it evokes within me the picture of organized gangs.
Yeah. There's someone in charge. That's a guy that's driving around during the day, and he will spot wherever there is a possibility of making money, and he will tell the guys at night. You will normally drop them off and tell them, right, there's the opportunity of making money, and that's what I want you to do through the night or for the night. And they will deliver.
Am I over dramatizing if I say to you and to you guys that it creates the image in my head of a people that live in a war zone?
100%. 100%.
I'm staying in town now. I'm staying in town. And I promise you, I slept here, I think the second or third night. I heard my dogs that were hiding in the bushes the night after my house got burned down, and my sister brought them in town. I had my own dogs barking during the night, and I told them there's something wrong outside because of that night. I know the bark, still recognize that barking.
Probably
And I told them
coming
there's
from your
something
side.
happening. And that next morning, Eskom, the electricity people, were standing right here in front of the gate and fixing cables. And the guys came and stole the cables here, right in the main road or Edwards Lane in Western area. So it doesn't matter where you are. It's alarms, it's security gates, it's dogs, it's electric fences, it's barbed wire. You're in jail. I'm staying in a jail. Wherever I go, I'm staying in a jail. The only thing that I loved about the farm, I didn't stay in a jail. I could go wherever I want up to a certain time, and that was the 16th of March. I didn't stay in a jail. And now I'm staying in a jail in town.
Why is it so that if I read the South African papers, and I do read them on a daily basis, that I get the impression, of course, there's crime in the country, but I don't get the, I want to use the word, the velocity, the urgency in the newspapers and what I read, but compared to what I hear from you guys right now and your experience in particular, Forsie, and how must I understand John Steenhuisen, the leader of the Democratic Alliance, now in the Government of National Unity, saying, I think to Trump, yes, there are some, I think the word is used, some, and I might say it wrong, but it's a feeling that I got, some problems with crime. There's a huge distance between...
No, I don't know. Really, I can't tell you that things that's been pushed under the carpet.
It seems to me...
I think Trump said it very well yesterday. Sorry, Trump said it yesterday. The media is controlled. And he was 100% correct. He said that you would think that this would be all over the news, all these attacks, but you do not see it. You don't read it anyway. If you even go and Google farm attacks in South Africa, you don't find these attacks. So the social media is they're trying to control social media by restricting us to things that we are allowed to say and post. But newspapers and news stations, they don't report on any of what happens. The sad thing is, I think the only news that is posting about farm murders is in Afrikaans. Station Marula Media. That is the only station that actually talks about every time about things that happens, but not everyone speaks Afrikaans and not everyone listens to Marula Media. So that is the end of the reports. You don't ever, like the morning after, we had 2 days of 2 farm attacks and 1 farm murder. It was now in this month, and we were listening to the news, and we were waiting for this to be on the news, and no one said anything. It was like it did not matter. The fact that that poor man was tortured for hours wasn't worth a minute of news in this country. Sorry.
Let's take a look at a small clip you made where you took the camera and you revisited this skeleton, burnt out house of yours, Fosi. Let's take a look at it, and then I'm going to ask you to talk to me about it.
Voorop. Jy sien hom.
Daar is die voorlop.
Die eerste een daar. Dis die een wat Jakkie in was.
Fosi, that's it's a very it touches one to look at these images.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What was it like for you to go back there? And I see you leaning on your crutches, and you see your life in front of you, yourself burned down. What goes through your mind?
Well, Jan, I think the thing that kept me going is my daughter. After the attack, the first people she spoke to, the media and stuff, that's a thing that she said. She grew up in that house, and that were child grow up in that house, and that's about the only place she knows. And yeah, we lost everything, like in everything, me and Yolandi. But still, we have each other. And I think that is what's kept me going since the attack. Yeah, it's bad to see where everything was. It's a lot of years that have been lost in there. And as I said, our mother passed away 4 years, just over 4 years ago. There's stuff of her mother's that is in her room. Everything about everything that she have is in that house, same as me. And yeah, we lost everything in a few seconds. And there's things that you can't replace. Really, everyone say, yeah, but that can be replaced. That can be replaced. There's things that you can't replace. During the day, every day, if I speak about something, or then I think of my own stuff that's lying there or there or there, and there's nothing left. I went back. I started cleaning up now. And there's nothing. The stuff that was still there is gone as well. There were steel bars in that house. There were a lot of stuff that I know for a fact should have been there, but there's nothing. There's nothing left. They ransacked that as well. And yeah, going through the stuff, and there's a cup or a thing that you pick up. It's bad because where to from here? I mean, everything that I had were in there. We made it our own place, and in a few minutes it was all gone. We couldn't stop it. I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you,
Bad.
Adriaan. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Tersia, let's close down with perhaps me asking you, what would you like the world to take out of this and to know about the South Africa that you're telling us about?
Well, we have been talking for many years, and our voices were taken away. Our voices was never, it felt like we speaking against the wall, and we appreciate, I have to say, we appreciate Donald Trump taking an interest
Thanks.
in South Africa. Absolutely. We are, as white South Africans, we are so grateful to President Trump for speaking out about this and for letting the world know that what is going on in South Africa. I am not, thank you, President Trump, for everything, but I'm staying in South Africa. I love my.
We might have lost Tersia there. The lines technically are not on our side today. If you can hear me, Tersia, Meiberg, Engelbrecht, if you can hear me, Adriaan Vos, I think, Adriaan, you could possibly still hear me. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you very, very, very much for this. And best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. And thank you very much, Tersia, Engelbrecht, for talking to us. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sean.